Jai Hind, dear children. Today we are going to learn about Politics, 3rd Unit, Chapter 5, the Judiciary. Before starting the topic, I would like to say a small summary about this chapter. Laws apply equally to all people. A certain set of fixed procedures need to be followed when a law is violated. To enforce this rule of law, we have a judicial system that consists of the mechanism of courts that a citizen can approach when a law is violated. As an organ of government, the judiciary plays a crucial role in the functioning of India's democracy. It can play this role only because it is independent. In this chapter, that is judiciary, help you to finding the answers related to judiciary, such as what does an independent judiciary mean? Is there any connection between the courts and the Supreme Court? So dear children, keep watch the class carefully. This is the first topic, that is introduction. The Constitution of India secures justice to all its citizens apart from securing liberty, equality and promoting fraternity. Indian democracy, the Supreme Court plays important role of safeguarding the fundamental rights of citizens, which includes providing fair justice also. Justice, which is the soul of a democratic society, must be administered without fear or favor. Integrity, impartiality and intelligence are some of the important characteristics of the independent judiciary in a democratic setup. Therefore, the judiciary plays a crucial role in the functioning of India's democracy. The next topic is, what is the role of the judiciary? Work of the judiciary can be divided into the following. The first one is dispute resolution, the second one is judicial review, and the third one is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. So we are moving the first one, that is dispute resolution. It means the judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens and the government, between two state government and between the central and state government. The next one is judicial review. It means judiciary has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the parliament if it believes that these are violation of the basic structure of the constitution. This is called judicial review. Third one is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights can be violated. If our rights are violated, we should approach the Supreme Court and High Court and get back our fundamental rights. The next topic is, what is an independent judiciary? The independence of judiciary means the other branches of government, that is the legislature and the executive, cannot interfere the work of the judiciary. The courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. Independence of judiciary allows the courts to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature and the executive. Independence of the judiciary also plays a crucial role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens. So this is called independence of judiciary. The next one is, what is the structure of court in India? There are 3 different levels of court in India. The first one is a district court, second one is high court, third one is appellate system. So we are moving the first one, that is a district court. District court that most people interact with are called subordinate or district court. Next one, high court. Each state has a high court, which is the highest court of that state. Supreme Court is at the top level. The decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts in India. It is located in New Delhi. In India, we have an integrated judicial system, which means that the decisions made by higher courts are binding on the lower courts. Last one is the appellate system. The appellate system exists in India, which means that a person can appeal to a high court if they believe that the judgment passed by the lower court is not just. So dear children, don't forget that there are 3 levels of courts in India. They are district court, high court, appellate system. The next topic is what are the different branches of the legal system. Go through the following table to understand the significant differences between criminal and civil law. The first one, criminal law. Criminal law deals with contract or act that the law defines as offences. Example, theft, harassing a woman, dowry, murder. It usually begins with the lodging of a first information report, that is FIR, with the police who investigate the crime, after which a case is filed in the court. If found guilty, the accused can be sent to jail and also finished. So this is called criminal law. The next one is civil law. Civil law deals with any harm or injury to the rights of individual. Example, a dispute relating to sale of land, purchase of goods, rent matters, divorce, etc. A petition has to be filed before the relevant court by affected part only. The court gives the specific relief asked for. So this is called civil law. The next one is, does everyone have access to the court? All citizens of India can access the courts in this country. This means that every citizen has a right to justice through the courts. The courts are available for all, but in reality, access to court has always been difficult for a vast majority of poor in India. Legal procedures involve a lot of money and paperwork, as well as take up a great deal of time. In response to this, the Supreme Court in early 1980s devised a mechanism of public interest litigation, or PIL, that is called public interest litigation, to increase access to justice. It allowed any individual or organization to file a PIL in the High Court or the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. The last topic is conclusion. The phrase justice delayed is justice denied is often used to characterize extended time period that courts take. However, in spite of this, there is no denying that the judiciary has played a crucial role in democratic India, serving as a check on the powers of the executive and the legislature, as well as in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens. So dear children, this much about this chapter, that is the judiciary. So read the textbook thoroughly and prepare the notes.
In this module, you will learn about the Indian judiciary. You might have seen this statue in movies or in a book. This is Justitia, the goddess of justice that personifies judicial systems across the globe. In India, the judiciary is an independent body that plays a critical role in the functioning of the country. It has the sole right to make or break decisions without the interference of the government, which includes the legislature and the executive. This separation of powers ensures impartial, equal justice to all citizens of India. It also prevents influential people like politicians and members of parliament to manipulate the judiciary. Apart from resolving all disputes between citizens and the government at various levels, the judiciary is also the final interpreter of the Constitution. It is also responsible for upholding and enforcing the fundamental rights for every citizen of the nation. If, at any given time, you feel your fundamental right, which includes freedom of speech or religion, to name a few, is violated, you can approach the court. The Indian judiciary is a three-tiered system with the Supreme Court at its helm, officiated by the Chief Justice, the High Court at the head of state, followed by the District and Sessions Court. The High Courts were established in the presidencies of Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras in 1862, well before the Supreme Court. The day India became a republic on 26th January 1950 was when the Supreme Court was first established. The courts are connected with each other through the appellate system that exists in India. This means that if a person feels they have not been given justice in a lower court, like the Sessions or District Court, they can approach the High Court to relook at the case. If justice is still not met, the case is taken to the Supreme Court, where the final judgment is made. Most of the cases fall into two broad categories of the legal system: criminal and civil law. Criminal law deals with cases of assault, theft, murder, dowry, and harassment, whereas civil law deals with land disputes, property deals, divorce, and rent agreements. Though the judicial structure in India seems well laid out and accessible to all, is it really easily accessible for all citizens in India? Not really. While it's easier for educated people like us, it's the poor that suffer the most. There's a lot of paperwork and money involved in court cases, making it close to impossible for a poor family to approach a court for justice. To add to this, a court hearing can spill over many years till a final judgment is made, making it impractical for a layman to approach a court. However, to combat this situation and increase the accessibility to justice, the Supreme Court introduced the Public Interest Litigation, or PIL, in the 1980s. This enabled a person who needed justice to file a PIL directly to the High Court or Supreme Court. The midday meal that children get in government schools is a result of a PIL filed. Despite some of the problems of the judicial system in India, as an independent body, it has played a key role in the functioning of the country and protecting the fundamental rights of the citizens. We have now reached the end of this module on the judiciary. In this module, we learnt that the Indian judiciary is an independent body that plays a critical role in the functioning of the country. It is the final interpreter of the Constitution and responsible for upholding and enforcing the fundamental rights for every citizen of the nation. The Indian judiciary is a three-tiered system with the Supreme Court at its helm, the High Court at the head of state, followed by District and Sessions Court. The appellate system exists in the Indian judicial system. The legal system is broadly divided into two categories: civil and criminal law.